All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really big question. What happens when writing code isn't the most important part of being a developer anymore? Yeah, you heard that right. We're talking about a huge shift, from being a syntax writer to becoming a system architect. So let's get right into it. Okay, this sentence right here, this is the key to everything we're about to talk about. It's this wild idea that the future isn't just about using AI. It's about building software in a way that's totally native to AI. And that means our entire process, everything we do, is about to get a major shakeup. Let's unpack what that really looks like.
So if the future is going to be AI native, what does it actually mean for developers day to day? Well, it means there are new rules to the game. Seriously. The skills that we've spent years, maybe decades, honing are being supercharged, and in some cases totally replaced by a new way of thinking.
This slide just nails the change. For so long, we've pictured a developer as someone hunched over a keyboard, deep in the weeds of syntax, getting every semicolon just right. But in this new world, that's not the main focus anymore. Your primary job becomes being the system architect, the one who designs the high-level blueprint, the grand vision, and then lets an AI agent handle all the tiny implementation details. Think about it this way. The AI, it becomes the master bricklayer. It can lay thousands of bricks a minute, perfectly, without ever getting tired. Your job, your uniquely human skill, is no longer about laying those bricks yourself. It's about designing the entire cathedral. That's a huge change in where your value comes from.
Okay, so that's all great in theory, but what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, a recent hackathon called The Evolution of To-Do gives us the perfect example. It's a journey that shows exactly how a developer goes from writing a simple app to architecting a seriously complex, intelligent system. And here's that journey broken down. You start with something super basic, right? A console app. But you don't stop there. You level it up into a full-stack web app. Then you weave in an AI-powered chatbot. And then comes the really fun stuff. You tackle modern deployment, first on your own machine, and then in a massive distributed cloud system. The cool part, each step requires less old-school coding and way more high-level architectural thinking.
So you're probably thinking, how on earth do you make a leap that big? From a tiny app to a huge distributed system without a giant team and months of work? Well, the answer is a totally new kind of partnership, a collaboration between the human architect and the AI builder.
And this was the single mind-bending rule of that hackathon. It's the whole foundation of this new way of working. By taking away the one tool every developer knows and loves, writing code by hand, it forces you to completely change your mindset. You have to think like an architect because you literally can't act like a bricklayer anymore.
So this new method has a name. It's called spec-driven development, or SDD, and it's actually pretty simple. You, the developer, focus only on the what. You write these super detailed plans, or specs, in plain old markdown files describing what the system should do. Then you hand that spec off to an AI agent, and its job is to figure out the how by generating all the code. Your job becomes a feedback loop. You just keep refining the instructions until the AI builds it perfectly.
This whole workflow runs on something called the agentic dev stack, and this table breaks it down perfectly. First up, you've got the constitution. Think of this as the why, the core rules and principles of your project. Then you've got the spec, which we just talked about. That's the what, the detailed architecture. And finally, the AI handles the how. It takes your why and your what and just executes. It writes the code. It's a beautiful separation of duty.
And now we get to the final boss level of this journey. This is where you graduate. You're not just building apps anymore, you're orchestrating these huge modern cloud-native systems. This is all about learning to command complexity on a massive scale. In this phase, powerful tools like Kafka, Dapper, and Kubernetes become your instruments. Seriously, think of yourself as a conductor of an orchestra. You use Kafka to manage all the messages, letting different parts of your system talk to each other. You use Dapper to make it easier for all your microservices to work together. And Kubernetes, that's the grand orchestrator, managing the entire symphony, making sure it runs perfectly and scales to any size. You're not just writing code, you're conducting a system.
And the result of all this? It's pretty staggering. You can take an idea that starts as one simple script and, without manually typing out thousands of lines of code, you can architect it into a globally scalable system that can handle incredible complexity. That, right there, is the true power of this shift in mindset.
So what's the big payoff for mastering this new way of doing things? It's way, way bigger than just winning a hackathon. It's about putting yourself on a direct path to a career that, honestly, used to be out of reach for most of us.
Now, the hackathon itself is no joke. We're talking 1,000 points on the line. It's a really high-stakes competition designed to push all of these new architectural skills to their limit. But believe it or not, the points, they aren't the real prize.
Yeah, the points are just the beginning. The real reward is something so much bigger, something that can totally change your entire career.
This is it. This is the founder's path. If you can prove you've mastered this new way of building, you get a chance to interview with Panaversity, join their core team, and maybe even become a startup founder inside their ecosystem. You're not just learning a new skill, you're learning how to build entire companies from the ground up.
So it all comes down to this. The job is changing. It's not about writing lines of code anymore. It's about designing and architecting intelligence itself. The tools are here. The path is clear. So the only question left is, are you ready to make that shift?